I've been invisible, I've been in the background all this time. So how do I take that first step? How do
I,
we do all of that?
thank you so much, Patricia, for that question. That is a very important question. One of the things that I always talk about is you have to develop your own sense of what you bring to the table. That's number one. Because if you before you step out there or raise your hand for an opportunity, then you have to be clear that this is my value. I know that I can contribute this particular value to the table. I may feel shy about it. I may have not taken up the opportunity in the past, and so I want to get prepared. So is identify what that goal is. So if it is, okay, I want to be a leader in my organization, I want to start delivering presentations, the first thing I would do is to create that presentation, prepare everything that I need to present, and then I would approach the gatekeepers. I don't know what industry you're in, Patricia. I don't know who the gatekeepers are. But for me, I wouldn't do my preparation first. I would identify what area I would like to add value to. I would be clear about what value I know that I can bring, so that when I ask the gatekeeper, this is where I'd like to be positioned, this is the value that I think I can offer, and this is when that I think I can do it, and I'm already ready. I'm already prepared, and I'm already engaged, and I'm ready to take off right now. So your first point of reference should be preparing, knowing your unique value, doing all your research, and then maybe it's external and not internal. If it's external, I think that you could also start on social media, LinkedIn, Twitter. For me, those social media tend to be places where you can have an engaging conversation around a particular subject of expertise. So, for example, if I'm talking about personal branding, I could follow people who also talk about personal branding. I could retweet articles about personal branding. I could not only just retweet, I could add my comment, add my knowledge, add my own expertise on the subject as well, and start a conversation. One of the hardest things to do is to brand yourself among the people who already know you. And many times, these are the people that you do want to show that, don't think of me this way, think of me this way. But sometimes you have to ignore them. Sometimes you have to ignore the space that you're in and go over there and study Spanish. Do an MBA over there. Go back to school and do another thing over there without them knowing, so that you can prepare yourself to take on the opportunities that are available. I really hope that answers your question, Patricia. So start with your research, the unique value that you're offering, then you can start creating the opportunities or knocking on the doors, because you're already ready to do the thing that you know you can do. Yeah? All right, so feel free to tell me, Dr. Kusega, if there are any other questions. But guys, this is the first exercise that I want you guys to do. So you can feel free to write in the chat box on Zoom. Because remember, I talked about one of the essential pillars of your personal brand is building a compelling persona. So I want you guys to... So your persona is really who you are. So this is the qualities and the distinct attributes that make us who we are. And these are also your soft skills. Can you write down as many adjectives you can think of about yourself? Usually I prefer 6, and then I would whittle it down to a top 3. Because somebody can't say to you, so tell me about yourself. And then you say, well, I'm confident, I'm passionate, I'm intellectual. No, nobody will believe that. It will sound so incredible. So the reason I say write down as many as possible is it helps you to kind of think about yourself. This is not a question we're generally asked. Who are you? It's not a question we're asked. Usually when people say, who are you? You would say, most of us, well, I'm a professor of public relations at Roger Williams University. Because again, we mistakenly think that our position and our job title is our brand. But who are you really? Is really about your personality. So Top three, if you can find a top three, write down 3 adjectives. What aspect of your personality you think is a strength? I think my confidence is a strength, right? So you write down, are you compassionate? Are you empathetic? Do you have a sense of humor? Are you responsible? Are you determined? I'm looking at some of the words I have here. Are you assertive? Are you strong? Are you trustworthy? Pick a top 3, but these top 3 should be really at the core. They are the strongest aspect of yourself. And if anybody has written that down, do you want to share with us what you've written, Dr. Quisega? Can you tell me if anybody has written down, or if you want to share with us?
I think, we have Wendy. Wendy has empathic, hardworking, smart.
Empathetic. So, okay, Wendy, if you say that you're empathetic, I mean, you can make a declarative sentence, because this is how we communicate our brand. If you believe that you're empathetic, it is a statement of fact. So, I'm empathetic. That's a declarative statement that you can make. But why do you say you're empathetic? Why should we believe that you're empathetic? So I want you guys, around each of the adjectives that you've written down, can you write a declarative statement? Because this is where you begin to own who you are. I am empathetic. But beyond that, why do you say that you are empathetic? Why should we believe that you're empathetic? Tell us why you say that. If you can offer us something, Wendy, we're happy to engage on that. Also,
we have Elizabeth, friendly, loyal, sense of humor.
Sensible. Is that sensible you said, Wendy?
Sense of humor.
Sense of humor. Oh, a sense of humor. Okay. I have a sense of humor in mine as well. I think I'm fun. Well, hopefully other people think I'm fun, but I think I'm fun. Okay. So what was the first one, Wendy? What was the first one for Wendy?
Friendly.
Friendly. Okay, Wendy, if you say you're friendly, then use power words. I am friendly. So you are envisioning a future where you are using this aspect of your personality to create opportunities for you. So if you say, I'm friendly, why do you say you're friendly? Can you communicate how being friendly is valuable? First, why do you say you're friendly? What makes you friendly? How are you friendly? Give an example of a time that you demonstrated this friendliness. Same thing, Patricia, is it Patricia? I can't remember if it was Patricia who asked about empathetic. If you're empathetic, then say you're empathetic. This is an aspect of yourself that you shouldn't have to be thinking about it. If you're in an interview, for example, or you're on a date, for example, and say, tell me about yourself. You shouldn't be thinking, what do you want to know? Which we often ask to that, what do you want to know? You should be able to say, I'm empathetic, and build a narrative around that. Why do you say you're empathetic?
She did. She said, I'm empathetic in working with all of our customers and their needs.
But why do you as a person say that you're empathetic? What do you do with your customers that you believe is an empathetic thing to do? Can you expand on that for us?
We have many more people too.
Can you just list some of the others for me?
Susan has reliable, dependable, self-disciplined, trustworthy. Stephanie has sincere and also perseverant. Nancy has open-minded, fair, and passionate.
Excellent. I like these, you guys. So here's your homework. I want you guys to create a narrative around all of that. I want you to, number one, I think, Dr. Quisega, if you could mute yourself. Number one, this is a formula. Write a declarative sentence. So declarative sentence is, I am empathetic, I am friendly, I am smart, I am compassionate, I have a sense of humor, things like that. So that's number one. Number two, in terms of really communicating that and owning that, try to think of a narrative around why you say that you're friendly. Why do you think that you're empathetic? Why do you think that you're compassionate? Start thinking about what do you do that causes you to believe that this is your strength. Do not say, oh, somebody told me that I am. That's good that people are identifying that with you, but you also want to identify it in yourself and know for sure why you're an empathetic person, why you have a sense of humor, why you're trustworthy, why you're reliable. So that's number 2. Number 3, think about an example of a time, one example of a time that you demonstrated empathy, that you demonstrated friendliness, that you demonstrated that you have a sense of humor, that you use your sense of humor to de-escalate a tense situation. Because that's a unique value that you could bring to the table. If you are trustworthy, how valuable is this personality trait? If you are a person who is a great team player and you can really operate well and you build relationships easily. Many times when we are working in industry and we're seeking a promotion or we're seeking a job, we focus on the technical skills. You know, we can code, we can market, we can research, we can plan. Great, I'm happy for you. But what is essential, and that could be part of your competitive edge, the thing that you do that nobody else does, is to say, I'm empathetic. What separates me from this other person is that I'm empathetic. How I'm going to anchor my personal brand, I really need to anchor it on my sense of fairness, because fairness is important to me. So we need to start communicating this aspect of ourselves, not just what we're good at, but who we are. And 2020, I don't know if you guys follow Jacinda Ardern, is the New Zealand Prime Minister. I spent 5 years as a student in New Zealand. And I'm so impressed with her because she's bringing those kinds of soft skills into leadership. And what the research is saying, last year the World Economic Forum said these soft skills are the core skills that employers are going to be looking for. So we want to be able to articulate those, unearth those, be clear about what they are, find a top 3, create a narrative around that, so that next time when you're asked who you are, you can deliver most clearly, not only about your education and your experience and your expertise, but fundamentally who you are as a person. So let's move on to the other exercise that I have for you guys here. And if you're going to expand your vision, guys, you have to bring value to the table. And in marketing, for those of you who do marketing or know about marketing, we call it a unique value proposition. What is your unique value? I love to call it your superpower. Let's see if I had it on this slide. What is your superpower? Thank you. What is your superpower, guys? What is that thing that you're good at? And I did, I think Laura had sent you guys a handout with some of the questions, and you can also engage with the questions in my brand new book as well. There are tons of questions that help you to talk about various aspects of your personal brand. So I want you to also write down, what are the things that you're good at? What do you excel at? Sometimes the thing that we're passionate about is not the thing that we're good at. It doesn't mean that you can't write it down, because it means that the thing we're passionate about, we can get good at. If I'm passionate about coding, I'm not at all. But if I'm passionate about coding, I could learn more about that. If I'm passionate about Spanish, I could learn Spanish and become good at it. Just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean that you can't work hard at it. Sometimes we are excellent at something and it's not our passion. It doesn't make us fly out of bed. It doesn't make us want to do it for free. It doesn't make us want to read 500 books about it. That's passion. You really are driven. You really love to do this thing. You don't mind. You'll do it for free. You'd spend all day on it. It may not be the thing that you're good at. And the thing that you're actually good at may not be your passion. And that's why it's so important to find out, is this my passion? I'm very good at this thing, but is this the thing I want to spend the next 5 years doing? Is this the thing I want to spend the next 10 years doing? And if it's not, you're going to have to find the thing that really make your joy come alive. So your homework, guys, if you could write down 3 things that you think you're exceptional at. Now, if you're not exceptional at it, don't write exceptional. If you're simply good, or I've had good experience with this thing, then you can write that down. If you're exceptional, then say that you're exceptional, but tell us why you say that you're exceptional. What makes you exceptional? So build the narrative around all of that, because you cannot expand your vision of yourself without knowing fully who you are and what value that you're bringing to the table. And guys, this is where I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to do any more exercises, except to say that when you're at home, and you could grab my brand new book, it's available on Amazon, and my name is Odd and Weird. It's Hume Johnson, Hume, so that you can go through the questions on your own. I did it on my own when I was building my own personal brands, and I can warn you that some of the questions are going to make you feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel hard. Even though you're talking about yourself and you're being asked questions about yourself, it's going to feel hard. It's going to feel like you don't know yourself. And don't worry, it's only because we've never been asked. We've never been asked these questions before. Only when we get to an interview, and most times in an interview, how we practice interview these days is, oh, there's a bunch of questions, and these are the correct answers to these questions. And make sure you study these questions so that when the employer asks you these questions, then you should be able to remember these things. That has nothing to do with who you are. You should be able to have a dialogue with anyone, an employer, a customer, a client, about what value you bring to the table without having to remember something. And when you're trying to remember, is that it's not who you are. That's the reason you're trying to remember it. So if you know who you are, and you know what unique value that you're bringing to the table, and why you're bringing this value, and what makes you different, if you do these exercises, then when you're having that conversation, you can have any conversation with anyone, anytime. And you can stand on the strength of your personal brand. You can build a vision for your life on the strength of your personal brand. Also, I want you guys to think about, what problem can you solve? If you're in your industry right now, what problem are you solving? What problem are you solving for your boss? What problem are you solving in the workplace? What problem do you see in your industry that is grating on your last nerve? And how can you contribute to the resolution of that problem? That's the unique value. That's where you can offer value. There's a problem. You see a set of people, they have a problem. I know what product I'm going to create to bring to them. There's a problem in my industry. How can I contribute to the resolution of that problem? That's where your personal brand comes in. If you want to move ahead in another industry, or you see how you can evolve in the industry that you're in, think of problems that are there that your skill set can solve. This is your personal brand at work. Happy to take some questions right now.
Patricia is asking, communication skills are very important to get your branding across. What do you suggest for someone to become a better speaker, to put yourself out there and get your branding across?
It's not, I always talk about your brand, building your brand first, and not, so I teach public speaking, right, Patricia? But if someone comes to me and say that I'm really shy and I want you to help me to, which quite a number of my clients, they approach me about public speaking. They say, I want to learn how to speak better. I think I would do better if I learn how to speak. Well, the problem wasn't speaking. The problem was not being clear about the value that they're offering. We are okay many times with shy people. Shy people offer a lot of value. We're okay if you stutter. I have a student who stutters who when he came, he was very shy about doing an interview. At the end of 3 years, he did his telephone interview. And he put out a disclaimer, I do stutter, and most people are sympathetic to that situation. But he already knew who he was, because we were working on that for 3 years. So part of it is, many times it's not about communicating in a way that you think is acceptable. I'm from Jamaica. I lived in New Zealand, and then I worked in Australia before I came to the United States. And so my accent tends to be all over the place. So when I enter a room, I'm aware that I'm in a place where my accent is different from majority of the people in the room. I don't shy away from speaking as a result of that. And for me, that's not the problem. If I'm shy, it has nothing to do with my ability to communicate, because I believe people should communicate the way they communicate. If you're shy, well, communicate in that way, because as long as you're saying what you want to say, most people just want to listen to what you're saying, and they'll have the courtesy, and they'll give you the compassion and listen to what you have to say. It's getting there. That's usually the issue. So I usually start with building out their personal brand, getting a sense of, okay, who are you fundamentally? Why do you feel a lack of confidence? Where is that lack of confidence coming from? So learning how to speak doesn't create that. We can do that for you, Patricia, when we're done building out your brand so that you can communicate yourself in a more effective way. But I do believe it has to start with a brand building process. Can we take another question? That's it? Okay, guys. Let me just say that, remember, a strong personal brand should reflect three things. Authenticity. It should be absolutely who you are at your core. Number two, we're not saying don't be visible. Be visible. Whatever your expertise is, be visible. Not only online, you can be visible offline as well, in your spaces, giving speeches, teaching, doing courses, demonstrating your expertise in different areas. But you can't just be visible. You have to have performance as well. You have to action. You have to act. So I called it Ava. It's the name of a woman, which is appropriate for this Women's Summit. Ava, so authenticity, visibility, and what was the other one? Action. Action, guys, visibility and authenticity is something you can think about for your personal brand. And remember, it's never, ever, ever, ever too late to reinvent yourself and unleash your personal power. And again, guys, if you're interested in continuing to audit your personal brand, you can find my book, Brand You, on Amazon. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, that was powerful. Ending with Ava. I am really inspired, and I hope you all are. And I thought I had a brand already, and apparently it still needs editing. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Hume Johnson. What a pleasure. Please remember to join our Women's Summit LinkedIn, and where you'll find a great networking group. You can connect with Dr. Johnson and other speakers and attendees there as well. Let's build our network. Let's work towards building that brand. So right now we have 15 minutes break. Please return to the main stage at 3:30 using your keynote link for the closing keynote ceremony, where we'll hear Susan David close us out together on this really inspirational day. So thank you, Dr. Johnson.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Ava. All right.